Hey, what's happening? Welcome to Mage TV. I'm back in the office. We've had a bit of a clear out finally, which means I can move in here, which means I'm back in here, and I don't know if I like it, to be honest. I quite like being out in the open space and stuff. Let me know your thoughts straight away if you're a regular viewer. Which of the sets that I've used this season has been your favourite? Are you happy to have the old set back? Or do you like the other ones? Let me know in the comments. I can't say I'll do anything about it, but it's always nice to know. So I want to talk about Liverpool's takeover stuff. I've not really talked about it on the channel yet. I've done, obviously, hours of it elsewhere. It just, as it's fallen, there's been other things happening on this channel. I just want to, before I dive into it, because I want to talk about the 10 things that I think any owners taking over from FSG need to do, must do, the absolute essentials for them. There might be some more on top of that, but I'm hoping to get 10 essentials. People ask me all the time about my sort of stance on Fenway Sports Group and Liverpool's ownership and how it's been run and blah, blah, blah. And honestly, I get asked this so often. That I think I've done a couple of videos on this channel in the past, but what's happened in this week, and one thing I've noticed is I tend not to read mentions on Twitter, because they can be, you know, just at a point where I do get trolls, and no one really needs that in their life. I've got kids, I've got a family. When you finish work, it's nice to just be able to focus on your family rather than have your night and their night ruined when someone's said something horrible to you. But what I noticed is, and a couple of people have pointed stuff out in comments to me on here recently and in the real world, that apparently there was a swell of sort of negativity and stuff, and so I had to look and open the massive can of worms, but it also opened my eyes to a really sort of false perception of how I felt about Liverpool's owners, how I felt about future potential owners for Liverpool, and a bunch of other random issues as well. So we spoke about that. We've just put a statement out on the Redmen YouTube channel. It's called Redmen TV Statements on FSG, takeover, access, standard chartered, and online allegations. I think me, Steve, and Chloe covered it pretty well. So if you're ever unsure about what this stuff, you've heard any things online that say negative things, again, I've had some horrible, completely unfounded, rather hurtful and hateful accusations, it turns out, being levelled at me. So yeah, I spoke about that at length on that show. So that's this is kind of an accompanying piece to that. We're kind of taking forward from that. Let's look at an optimistic world, because I have been a little bit reticent to be too optimistic about the takeover for Liverpool, and just to clear up, that doesn't come because I'm dead set that Liverpool needs to keep FSG. Far from it. I think I think we can all see that they've taken the club likely as far as they can, or at least, you know, they might be able to maintain it, but there's more likely a lot of diminishing returns, because now there's another super rich football club in the Premier League, and we're more likely to end up behind the Newcastle than ahead of Newcastle. There's more hungry parties at the table, and Liverpool's tricks are so dependent on Jurgen Klopp, brilliant recruitment and lots of fine margins, marginal gains, and being really clever in a lot of things. But a lot of those things are replicable when you've got money. We've seen this happen to Dortmund. You can't fight with Bayern for too long. Atletico Madrid have fought really well against Barcelona and Real Madrid, but ultimately money talks, and it looks like the time has come for Liverpool to find more money. My concerns, as I've levelled before, is that we've done this before. Those of you old enough to remember David Moore's in charge. He left because he couldn't compete with the world that the Chelsea owner, Roman Abramovich, had created, and sold the club to the wrong people who leveraged buyouts, put loads of debt on the club, and nearly ran Liverpool into oblivion. That's obviously a scary thing for anyone who lived through that. I don't want Liverpool to go through that again. That's kind of that. But when it comes to other things and what the type of owners and stuff, it's all addressed on the Redmen video. Do go and check that one out at your leisure. If you're not asked about that, then let's just crack on, because here's the 10 things I think that Liverpool's new owners, or, you know, the strategy needs to be moving forward in no particular order. First and foremost, and it's really important to me, keep the supporters board. So we've now got, you know, enshrined in the club itself, in the Articles of Association, the supporters board. So obviously a lot of members of Spirit Shankly are on there, but really great fan representatives having a say on key issues. And the idea being now, and one of the big selling points of this came out on the back of the failed attempt to launch the Super League, is that effectively Liverpool can't join a Super League without the say-so of the supporters board. They have a bigger say on these things. That needs to be essential. The worst thing that could happen is an owner to come in and rewrite it all and go, nah, we don't want any of that. This has been a big step forward. Not a lot of football clubs kind of have this, and certainly not a lot at the top end of football. It's a big improvement of how it's been previously. It should help to keep safeguards in place against Liverpool doing ridiculously stupid things, or owners doing wild and stupid things, without it being also at the whims of fans, because let's face it, we're all a bit crazy and we'd all do stupid things that aren't necessarily smart business moves. We think with our hearts rather than our heads a lot of times when it comes to footy. That's fair. That's a big one. Continues to develop Anfield. Big one. Look, and it's one of the things where I think we can all agree, I guess, that you know, Fenway Sports Group they've done a great job. Liverpool's stadium was stuck in the past. Hicks and Gillette, big sell, was they were going to move us to a new stadium, spade in the ground in 60 days, and it never materialised. And we saw plans, and we've seen lots of different ideas. We were told that we couldn't stay at Anfield, and we have. And to go from seeing the old main stand to seeing the new main stand was just, honestly, it was like a religious moment of like, holy hell, like, wow. And I've been to Fenway Park a couple of times. Like, what they were able to do there. Places have history, they have meaning, and they have power, and you know, to be able to stay at Anfield is essential. I would not like to see that work undone. As much as we might clamour for more, I want more work to be done to make sure that we do stay at Anfield. Obviously the Anfield Road end's going to get finished at the end of this season. That'll be amazing. That's going to take capacity up to 61,000. Still not enough. So what happens next? We need to make sure that the new owners are considering improving the Kenny Dalglish stand, which is well due an upgrade. And what do you do with the Kop? Because all of a sudden the Kop's starting to look a little small. Safe standing will make a big part of that. We're already starting to see rail seating on the Kop and in the Alley Road end. People stand up for every game on the Kop now anyway, because the atmosphere has improved significantly since the early 2000s, and well, basically since Jurgen Klopp come in, that's become the norm rather than the exception, which is what it was. You know, the famous atmospheres of like Liverpool Chelsea in 2005, those famous atmospheres stood out. Now even average atmospheres are better than some of the better ones we had 20 years ago. But the Kop needs to have some serious thought. It wants to be, it can be small and powerful, but we can make it big and powerful. And I think I think that's an important thing moving forward. You want to be getting closer to 70,000. Liverpool will sell out. We will sell season tickets for days. The season ticket waiting list needs to be chipped away at. It's ridiculous that it's frozen. You can't even get on it now, and you're waiting a lifetime if you've been on it to even get close. So let's kind of shorten that down by having a bigger Anfield. One of the big ones, and I think one that everyone is talking about. Give Klopp the backing he needs. This is my roughly scrawled list, which I think has been pretty comprehensive. Give Klopp the backing he needs for the short term. That's 1 point. I'm doing this as 2 points. The short term, I mean the next 3 to 4 transfer windows. That might seem like a lot to some people, and yeah, you know, when you're talking about it's going to cover 2 seasons, but really it's a year and a half from here on. You want this January, summer, 4 transfer windows to make sure that the team doesn't slip too far behind. It might have to go through a transition process, but we've got good players. We've got good young players. We can fill a squad out with some really, really talented youngsters. We've got the best coaches in the world at this point of making players better. But we do need to go and buy some ready-made talent. Jurgen said it himself. That's where they're at, and that's where Jurgen needs to be backed in the transfer market. Linked into that is about making Klopp secure in the medium to long term. So we know he's got years left since his contract extension, but what we want, and the key word I'm seeing bandied around a lot, and it's right, is the word dynasty. And I've seen a lot of people saying we've missed out on this opportunity. We haven't missed out on an opportunity to build a dynasty. We've only missed out on it if Jurgen Klopp decides that it's not fun at Liverpool anymore. It's not exciting, and he's not supported, and he's not being given the tools to succeed. Alex Ferguson didn't build a dynasty on his first 3 contracts. It's contract after contract. You know, he nearly walks away in 2001, 2002. His plan was to get to the Champions League final in Glasgow, win it, and then retire. I mean, the fact is he goes on and wins countless other trophies, countless more European Cup finals, knocks Liverpool off their perch in terms of their titles won. after that period, because he felt he could still go on. He was still fresh, he was still hungry, and he had the backing of the people around him, he had the players around him, and that's going to be key. Jurgen Klopp's got to make sure that he's still got control over who he's working with. He's got to like the people that are working above him, and that's one thing he's got at the moment with the current owners, is he really gets on with Mike Gordon. He really got on with Michael Edwards. He gets on with Julian Ward. He got on with Peter Moore previously to that. He likes Billy Hogan and the guys, his coaching staff around him. Jurgen Klopp needs to feel happy and secure, and that will come in transfers, absolutely, but also facilities and making sure that he still has the say in the decisions that he has. Some owners will come in and go, actually, if it's a plaything to a new owner, they might take things off him. Don't take anything off Jurgen Klopp that he doesn't want taken off him. And if he wants to add more, also be a bit careful with that, because obviously you can tip too far in some things, but make sure you find an equilibrium. Make sure you find a point, that's easy for me to say, make sure you find a point that when we're coming up to 2 years, a year left on his current deal, he sits down with his missus in the kitchen again and goes, no, we love it here, let's stay for another 4 years. That's how you build a dynasty. Extra funding for the LFC Foundation. They do brilliant things around the city of Liverpool. We want to make sure that any new owners still have that level of care and duty of care towards the city. Liverpool isn't just a football club. It isn't any football club. It is etched into the fabric of our local society, and we want to make sure that it continues to get the funding. And you know what, if there's money to burn, the fractional sizes we're talking about by comparison to player contracts and player signings, a drop in the ocean extra towards funding for the local area will make a massive difference to so many people's lives, and actually beyond the Merseyside region, because that's the great work that the LFC Foundation do. Improved facilities for the women's team always falls off the docket, this one, and I'm guilty of doing it sometimes. I've got a lot of time for what they've been able to do. Some great players there. They've got some great support. They've gone through the doldrums of being relegated. They've come back up again. We should want to have a competitive Liverpool women's team. It should be part and parcel. It shouldn't be a negotiated thing. It should be accepted that we want that to be at the top. Now, again, it needs to be done in the right way. They need to find a sustainable model for it, so it's not I can get it, so it's not a total money sink. But you know what? Again, it might need to be a bit of a loss leader. It looks like, again, the current structure have started to find a way to do that. They've put investment in over the last couple of years, getting Matt Beard back and getting him the support that he needs, and they look a more competitive outfit. But you've only got to look at like the back end that Man United's women's team's got and Manchester City's have got. It'd be great to get to that level where Liverpool have got the best women's team and the best men's team on the planet, and when you're looking at the best players, they come to Liverpool, and you're inspiring another generation of talent. I want my daughter to grow up in a world where we can jump in a car and be 15 minutes away from the best players on the planet that she recognises, that she feels that she can look up to and she can emulate in that way. We all need heroes. The better the heroes, the better we can strive and dream of being. So yeah, that's what hopefully we'll be able to get, because we have been woefully underbacked. The idea that they've got to go to Prenton Park and play is a bit crap. I don't know what the immediate solutions that is, but the idea that they're not factored into the extra training centre, can they be brought a bit closer to them? Can they be brought into the city? Who wants to have to pay the tunnel toll to, these are the stupid things that can be the barriers to entry for some people. Let's reduce as many of those barriers to entry, and let's have a brilliant women's football team moving forward. Develop the area around Anfield. There's a big one for me as well. There's a big area of wasteland that was meant to be a hotel. I don't know where the plans are with that, but there's Liverpool can be more, it can be better. The redevelopment of the main stand has helped significantly. The Anfield Road will add to that as well, but it's still one of the most deprived areas of the city. Liverpool has taken probably too much from the local area. Liverpool did not behave particularly very well in the securing of the houses and the land around the ground for the expansion. LFC community, LFC Foundation can help with that, but you want Anfield to be a place where people feel like they can go and not feel as though they're going to get the car broken into. It's getting there, but it still needs more work, and that again needs more structure, more police and more security, better facilities, more reasons to go to Anfield than just to go to the club shop and do the tour. Make the tour better as well while you're at it, and have it be a destination, not just for match days, because if we want Liverpool to be the best, revenues need to go up, and again, you want people coming to make the pilgrimage and not needing to go and take a ticket. If you don't really care about the footy, you can go and soak up a brilliant place in a nice, hopefully better looking, more safe, ultimately, environment, because, you know, it is true. You know, again, it's a couple of years now, but went to the club shop, did a little bit of filming, and had my car window smashed in because it was over the road from Anfield and out of sight of it. It's the unfortunate nature of, you know, of certain areas of the city, of every city really, where poverty breeds desperation and crime, and Liverpool can help be a central beacon to the L4 area, and, you know, have a hotel, bring more guests in, bring more money in, have people have better experiences around Anfield. It's not going to hurt the reputation of the club. Plans to improve the Kop and the Kenny Dalglish stand, kind of hinted at it. We need to see that plan for the Kop. And I know I've kind of already said this, but I really want to double down on the Kop in particular. The Kop needs to be the most spectacular looking as well. It's already got the power. Look at the yellow wall, look what they're doing to Spurs. Can you maintain the authenticity of the Kop, but also make it this incredibly imposing structure as well? That would be absolutely splendid. I think I've cheated there, haven't I? It's fine, let's just gloss over it. Continued investment in youth. Look, yes, buy more ready-made footballers who need less work and then can improve, their ceilings are higher, without a doubt. That's central. But don't take our eyes off the prize when it comes to long-term development. The worst thing that happens to football clubs when they get money is it's very easy to just kind of be, wow, we've all done it in computer games, filter by interested. Oh, he's interested, great. Spunk the money on some megastar, and then all of a sudden you find you've got one boss player, but you really could have done with 5 underneath that. Make sure the next talents feel like Anfield and like the AXA is the destination for them. Make sure it's the number one club for young players. When they look around and you're a 15-year-old prodigy, I want, when Barcelona come knocking and Real Madrid come knocking, as they always do, and Liverpool come knocking, there shouldn't be, you're aiming for, okay, let me think about it. It'd be nice to be like, oh yeah, absolutely blown away, but look, they're always going to have a law, those football clubs. We want to make sure that we're in that pecking order for any young talents coming through, because as much as it's great buying brilliant players in and taking them to heart, there's something special about finding a young player, watching them grow and blossom into the first team. So yeah, Liverpool need to make sure that maintains as part of their strategy. Maintain fan relationships, big one. You know, I think, and you're seeing what's happened in recent years, and Peter Moore was central to this. And do Liverpool maybe need to find another Peter Moore-esque figure? Billy Hogan's going higher and higher up the football club. There'll be people who come in and set in, and there's some great, you know, I've spoken to lots of the employees of Liverpool in different departments and different walks of life, and you know, effectively Liverpool's just another business, just an office basically. You know, most of the time you walk into their offices and it's an office, and it's where they do LFC TV on one floor, another floor just a bank of desks. You'd never know you were at like this storied, historied, incredible football club to see it. It can just be a workplace. For a lot of people, Liverpool is just a job. It just pays a wage, they do the job and they get off, and that's sound. You don't want too many people too invested, but we need to make sure that someone's the link between the fans and the club. Tony Barrett's done a great job, but he's moved more towards sort of press officer sort of level. Peter Moore's obviously moved on. Billy Hogan's moving up. Jurgen Klopp does a great job of engaging, and obviously he has a great relationship with the fans, but can't be totally close to them. We need to make sure that that doesn't get lost, because there is always a surge of globalism. You need to make sure that, you know, because you want once in a lifetime fans coming in who'll pay anything for the tickets. You'll throw thousands of pounds on merchandise and food and all that kind of stuff, but your loyal fans, and they can be from all over the world, by the way. The people who have Liverpool in their hearts, no matter whether they've got an L postcode in the purple bin or they come from, you know, the far reaches of the globe. You want to make sure that those people who truly love Liverpool, the ones who, when we draw, are just in a bad mood, the ones who just live for it, like the Liverpool players, and the score is everything central to their lives, that they feel that connection to the football club. You know, having connections with Boss Night, the Anfield rap. We've seen a little bit of it with Redmen over the years. This is Anfield, and then even like just the initiatives that they go out and do, and you know, making sure Liverpool players get out to schools and all that kind of stuff. I want to make sure that doesn't get lost. So, you know, when you're seeing the fan parks, those experiences in Kiev and Madrid and Paris, where fans, club, and and the legacy of Liverpool all working in harmony to deliver incredible experience. And I hope that doesn't go away. I hope the importance of the fans remains central to any new owners for Liverpool as well. And look, lastly, and just to kind of reiterate, if anyone hasn't watched the Redmen video, when I've talked in previous things about morals and stuff that are important to me, what I want to make sure is that no decent, kind, loving, a normal fan feels unwelcome at Anfield, and that still can happen. There's a little bit of a snarl about people not from the city at times, which needs to, people in Liverpool, we need to work on a little bit. But also I've talked about it, people, women need to be more comfortable coming to football games at Anfield. Gay and trans people need to be, unilaterally accepted in those kind of environments, and that's a society thing as much as anything else. But I hope that the next owners that Liverpool get are appreciative of such things, and there isn't an environment that would make people feel unwelcome at a football ground, because for me, everyone should be welcome at Anfield. If you want to go and pour your heart and soul out onto the pitch, out of your lungs and your mouth, and scream your support onto the pitch, passionately bashing into your chest, jump up and down, twirl your scarves in the air, give every ounce of you to help Liverpool be successful, then it honestly does not matter in any way, shape or form where you're from, the colour of your skin, what gods you're into, what sexual organ you have, who you enjoy having sex with or don't enjoy having sex with, or anything in between. To be perfectly honest, support of your football club absolutely should know no boundaries whatsoever. We all want to see Liverpool get back to the top, and I have to hope, because I'm not a miserable glass half empty kind of person. So I've got a lot off of my chest in the last couple of days. I'm feeling a bit better about it. Jurgen Klopp talking about it and being a bit more relaxed about it has helped me certainly as well. Fingers crossed the owners get the decision right. We can get what we've had but more, because they have been shrewd operators. They've not been perfect. They've made Liverpool competitive, and that's the bare minimum for me. If you can make Liverpool competitive, that's great. If you can make us super competitive and consistently competitive over a long stretch of time, then great. I think the dream of everyone is that we should never even think about who the owners are. They should go unnoticed. We should not even be aware of them. The manager should just be able to get on with doing what he does. We remember the times under Rafa when he had to draw attention to owners and stuff. It's shit. You don't want it in your lives. You want to be able to just unequivocally support the players and get behind them and give everything towards helping, doing our teeny fractional bit towards making Liverpool the best on the planet consistently year in, year out. So yeah, anyway, that's that. If I missed any, let me know in the comments below. Also, don't forget, as always, I'm going to play it out on an 888 Sport clip. Guys doing a great job over there. Make sure you head over, leave your reaction to the clip in the comments, drop a like and all that good stuff as well. But yeah, that's it from me. If you want more, as I say, I do implore you, go and check out the statement we put out on Redmen this week. More to come from me over the World Cup break. If you've got any topics of conversation you'd like me to discuss, anything in particular you'd like to see me do, again, comments box underneath. I'm always here for discussion, but we won't tolerate abuse or hatred. I've tackled people in the past and people are getting muted, because let's all be excellent to each other, because there's no reason not to be. Anyway, up the Reds, check out the 888 Sport, lads.
Weirdly, I think that Bukayo Saka is going to be England's breakout star player.
It's funny, we're talking Saka. None of us have talked about the star here, really. Like Borussia Dortmund's captain, Jude Bellingham. If we're talking about starting, I would have him above Saka. If we're talking about Saka, I think Jude Bellingham is the one, because there's still a debate if it's going to be Foden or Saka. It's still a debate. He's a guaranteed starter for this team. And he's that magic. If Declan Rice sits, it's a case of, go on, Jude, show us what you can do. He could literally just take this World Cup by storm. No fear. Like, I felt like with Saka and Foden in the Euros, there was that fear. And I'm writing it down.
And he's annotating. That's how passionate he is about this.
There was a bit of fear, wasn't there? Can you see it? There was a bit of fear. With both of those two in the Euros, he's going to come on and just no fear at all. He's just going to dominate. He could be the superstar for England.
Difficult position to shine and capture the headlines in the way that we're talking, though. We're talking about winning you the game, aren't we? I don't necessarily
think... He could be that.
He
could be that Lampard, Gerrard, Scholes-esque player.
You've got to be Zidane level to shine at a World Cup in that kind of position.
Yeah. It's a lot of pressure.
Someone's going to be given a free-ish role in that midfield area to kind of just be that number 8 up and down, up and down. I think it could be him.
I need to introduce you to somebody called Gareth Southgate. There will be no free roles in this team.